So we have those picks and bans going quick and fast, though.
Starting with the bans in order: Vladimir, Ezreal, Response, Aphelios to Rengar.
So some things we know. That Rengar, it seems like something that this support is a fan of. Aphelios probably just needs to get rid of. We are at another post-Aphelios ban, and we haven't really seen him played super heavily this weekend, but it's good to just get rid of him.
Ooh, that's interesting. Vigar ban coming in as the final one before picks.
Vigar's been an effective pick this weekend. I'm glad to see respect for him, at least.
It's, juggling between orders. Gnar being the first pick. Now, I mentioned this in another game with Gnar coming out, but that means you've got a really good tank about half of the time.
So, I know Trains likes Gnar, and I know a lot of the top laners in the ALS like to play Gnar in ranked games, so, I think he's just a popular pick.
Well, and speaking of popular picks, we've got the Response in top of Ornn with a Varus down bottom. Now, that's not quite as common. The Ornn, though, that's going to be a weird matchup between Ornn and Gnar, because Ornn doesn't really have a whole lot of range to harass little baby Gnar at the beginning there, but just stays in lane forever, for obvious reasons. And then the follow-up seems to be an Evelynn in the jungle. Now, that's something I haven't seen in a very, very long time.
We've had a little bit of Evelynn, and it's been hit or miss in the ALS. I mean, it's a solo queue pick. You pick her and intend to carry with her.
I mean, if you're going to take Evelynn, that has to be your plan.
I will say, of the of the AD carries that are left, since Ezreal's banned out, who probably is the more successful unnerfed AD at this point, Varus is the other. He's largely untouched, and he's been very successful, so that makes sense. Jhin, another powerful AD, still left available.
Jhin, one-shot everyone, go! Battle cry I have heard more often than I would like. We're still targeting these positions, though, with a Senna being banned out. Now, is Senna someone that we see picked up in mid a lot now? Because we're seeing two ADCs, or do we think that Varus is planning on going mid?
So, Senna is a support as well. She's so versatile. She was designed to be a support. I think we're just going to see a lot of support bans coming out, and we've gone very late in this game without Thresh or without a Blitzcrank or anyone else. Nobody has picked a support yet, and Jhin and Varus are both very dependent on their supports. So I think that's where we're going to see these bans focus. Yuumi also makes sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. Neither of them has much of not any escape tools at all, and Varus only picks up any really noticeable CC once he grabs his ult at 6, which by then, if you're playing Evelynn on the plan you want, you've already killed Varus once or twice, so you need that support to not be the one who can interrupt. And then, actually, okay, I don't know if a lot of people would agree with me. I really don't. Karma, though. I love that pick here. Karma is one of my favorite champions. You may have noticed from me saying that and Yuumi, I've played a lot of support, but I love Karma for a support and how she can just phase into being a carry. I think she can do a great job of just stopping someone from dying to Evelynn's type of burst.
I really like the Karma pick. I would have also liked that Morgana pick that they were hovering just briefly. I think Zelandis playing Karma is fine. She's been a successful pick in the ALS. I think putting her with Varus, putting her with Graves, she'll do good things.
And we kind of glazed over a Lissandra pick there, but to keep talking about supports, we have Lulu on pairing up with Jhin there. And I gotta say, I like that too. We have two supports that are very good at defending their... Wait, hang on. Okay, never mind. Someone looked like they were about to make a fool of me, floating that Sona pick before they went to Corki. I thought we might be seeing a Karma mid, which, goodness gracious, that would have been fun, but...
Oh, that's almost certainly just trolling. So this is a pretty solid setup on both teams, but there's only, as you pointed out earlier, only a part-time tank on an R, and only a part-time tank on whoever Lulu ultimates. Lysandra can be very survivable, but we don't have much of a front line for Smug Club. What we do have is a nasty amount of damage.
Oh, heck yes. If that damage lands where Smug wants it, you're going to blow up. Even Ornn is only going to be able to hold on to that for so long, and that's the tankiest member on Glacial's side. But, so really, I think this actually does come down to a matchup of competing strategies. We've had a lot of games, at least that I've cast personally, where teams have had similar strategies, or at least could kind of work on the same level for both sides. But I think we've seriously got competing tactics. Evelynn, she wants to pick you off. She wants to find you in a position where you're not in a good spot, get that charm, take you out before it even wears out. Lysandra, bursty as heck. Jhin, pretty bursty for an ADC. Gnar, like you said, only a frontline half the time. This is not a team that is looking as much for an organized, pitched fight. On the other hand, when you have a tank like Ornn with his massive setup move for an ult, and admittedly, biggest piece of their front line there, but when you have Graves who wants to sit mid-range with you, skirmish for a second before they kill you, not necessarily a burst kill. Corki and Varus who want to sit in the back while all this is happening and wear you down. Even if you're not looking at someone who wants a face-to-face brawl, you are not looking at a pick team here. You are looking at a team that wants a fight on their terms, but a fight.
So I think the big thing to notice about Glacial Rising Phoenix's team comp, they have a powerful siege package, and they can either engage or disengage at will. When they're ready to engage, they have Varus ultimate, they have Ornn ultimate, they have Karma just going in, and when they want to just sit back and shoot you from range, they have all of that going for them as well. So this is a versatile team comp. It's going to give them decent team fighting potential. I think that gives them the edge in this. It's going to come down to, in a lot of ways, can Smug Club get the picks they need, catch people out, and just like fight the game unfairly. Evelynn becomes the true deadly powerhouse post 6. Before that, she needs to farm fast. Graves is very strong throughout the game and is an incredibly efficient jungler. So,
very even curve there.
I feel like I prefer the Glacial Rising Phoenix here, but it's really going to come down to, can Smug Club get the picks and make things difficult? Can they like pull off an early lead or something like that? That will help. They have late game power. That's not going to be the question. It's more just, do they have the ability to get the setups they want?
Yeah, it's like you said, the power is there. They've got Lysandra, they've got Jhin, they've got Gnar, and Evelynn, I know she's not great late, but she's still there. She's still getting some damage in. And here's the thing. Smug has two angles here. I'm going to start by saying I do agree with you. I kind of prefer Glacial. I think that what they're aiming for is a little more consistent. But this game really can be in Smug's hands, because we talked about the early picks. There is one other out Smug has if we get to later in the game, and that's if Glacial starts relying on that siege potential, because they've got it. They've beyond got it. It's very true. But with only one character that's a full front line, there is a lot of pressure on Karma to protect those siege engines in Varus and Corki. Now, Karma can do it. Karma's got the kit, and I Delandis, I'm sure, has got the awareness. But if the Evelyn gets in and picks off your siege engines while you're doing that, that's a lot of your damage down for the ensuing team fight, too.
Yeah, but this isn't solo queue, so, Visions should be better. And I think one little bit of mentality problem that you occasionally see in ALS, especially with some of the lower ranked teams, is the solo queue mentality of just pick my carry champion and I have to be the carry. You're on a team, have a team strategy.
No, absolutely. It's beyond true, and honestly, in my opinion, it's more fun. But it really will come down to that kind of communication and who can get into the position they want. And basically, I'm just saying I think there's one other angle for Smug there, but it's going to be really difficult for them to get.
So we're seeing that Smug Club grouping as 5 to get ready for an invade.
Yeah, it looks like they might be. Makes sense with a couple early game high utility champions they have, but I don't know if you go in and say Karma. It looks like they're calling it off, but you go in and say Karma gets a root on someone, that's gonna hurt.
I do want to call out right now, Online and Epic Fail Guy both carrying cleanse. They are respecting the CC that's available. Both that charm from Evelyn and the all of the lockdown the Lysandra provides.
Definitely.
So this is a respect move for sure.
And I think it speaks a lot for how they feel about their situation. I think they're very aware of the exact things we were talking about with what advantages each team have, and they're playing to it. It's a really good move, especially since they didn't go for that Morgana. Something we didn't get to talk about very much, just because things kept moving on, was that the one thing Karma doesn't have that Morgana would have provided is that anti-CC, especially against the Charm, and then later in the game, the lockdown from Lysandra. So I completely agree with you. It's not only a respect play, I think it's a really good choice. It covers the weaknesses that they brought in while still letting them use the strengths that they chose to have. It covers a lot of bases.
Now, I will say one very important thing about this top lane that Joey Desu is playing. We have seen Orns routinely just be the lane bullies.
Yeah,
they don't mess around.
It's true. They really can be, and that's why I don't know. It's going to depend on how Trains responds to it. If Trains can get the boomerangs to hit Ornn and catch them, maybe even trigger some of those marks, I believe it's called Get Excited, then, or Amped Up or something, I don't know. But
yeah, it's Get Excited.
Okay. Then that percent health damage. Wait, hang on. Does that still do percent health damage? Am I being a fool here?
It is a percentage health. I think it levels.
Okay. Yeah. So it's really going to depend on if Trains can land a few of those before they get bullied hard. Because if their health's too low, then the bullying can't happen. But if you don't land those marks, Ornn's tanky enough that they don't really care about standing and skirmishing with Gnar for a bit, especially little Gnar. Looks like we might have something developing in the bot lane here, though. As pings are coming down from Kaze, they're diving into the tower. Ooh, looks like there's just a little too much ability to get out, though.
Skizz from an angle they weren't expecting, but they had a chance to react.
They did, and fortunately they were able to. And no, that ward's new. I respect that reaction. I wondered if that ward we were seeing in the bottom bush there was how they saw it coming. But nope, I guess they just smelled it.
When the opposing team starts getting really aggressive, you can guess there's somebody else about to join you.
It's a good guess. Oh gosh, sure paid off. Not seeing too much activity yet, though. Looks like Evelyn Sparrow's there's taking that chance to farm up, like you said, look for the level 6. Probably going to start seeing more ganks coming out of them. Little surprising, in a way, to see pressure come out from Skiz on Graves before you see any from Evelyn, but like you mentioned, that 6, not having it.
With the way Evelyn is built now, it just makes more sense. Farm as quickly as you can. You gain so much health. I think more notably in top lane, we're seeing a 10 CS difference on the side of Joey Desu, who has just been going in there and putting the pain on trains.
Oh, hang on. Looks like there's a move being made on Dragon as Glacial sends 4 members to just kind of grab it uncontested. Pretty sure that Smug was able to see that on their ward in the dot bush, but at the same time, there was just too much presence with Lulu being out, Angel being not available to help with this response. Maybe they decided they just didn't have enough to commit to it.
I mean, sometimes you just decide, hey, let's go take us a dragon.
Bit of a power play, in my opinion, 6 minutes in, though, to notice you have that kind of map presence so quickly. This is something I think Glacial's always done really well with, is that macro game. So definitely something I would not expect to see the exact move, but playing the way I've learned to think they will.
Note, Sprawl has yet to back. He's just out there farming and doing as much as he can without having to back. This is that Evelyn play style of just rushing the level as quickly as you can. So...
No, you're absolutely, and they seem to be doing a good job of it. We just saw that first back as you were talking, and it looks like they are like 90 or 80% of the way to 6. It's just going to take them a very little bit of time. With their red buff up, that'll almost certainly be enough, and that's going to put them in a great position with red buff up, almost full mana, just having healed and getting that 6.
I think the plan here is making sure that Epic Fail Guy goes back to base.
Yep, it's... Oh! Root coming in from Karma, managing to get a lot onto Epic Veil Guy. Simultaneous flashes leading to Undertower exhaust on J-Spiz, but no damage onto any champions, causing the tower to aggro them. That was very close if you're Epic Fail Guy. But some good situational awareness from Angel there to know when to stop using any skills, get that auto attack to stop being automatic.
That cleanse did its work, though.
Oh, yes.
Now, Joey Desu is really starting to take over this lane, and that's going to be a pretty big problem. Trains is almost half the CS.
Ouch. Oop. Speaking of problems, though, we have Slips coming in, but being ambushed immediately by the Speraldo that was sitting there waiting for them and deciding, you know what? Never mind. Thought we had a fight breaking out in the river. Turned out to just be, screw that.
Well, Skiz has used his ult, and that's definitely a resource gone. Didn't get much for it.
Speaking of ultimates, looks like Joey Desu's is going to allow them to take first blood by a slim margin as Sprawlu immediately... Oh gosh, the kill cavalcade begins. Sprawlu catching someone out in the jungle only to immediately be found by Skiz, turning around to punish them for their being behind their towers.
That was good reaction. They had an idea of where Sprawl was, and were able to just hunt down the Evelyn before she can get out cleanly.
Yeah, and that's a big difference, because like we talked about, once you hit 6, Evelyn's power really is in that early game. So any amount of early game advantage you are allowed to pull away from her, even if it's just getting something in return for her moves, it can really stack up in the end.
It's also just another example of why you don't see Evelyn as often in team competitive play. Everyone is in constant communication. Everyone's on comms.
Yep.
They know where you at.
And that is definitely Evelyn's strongest point, is you not knowing where she is. So anything you can do to take that away from her, it's going to make it harder. Ooh.
So I want to see Lalafor really start to roam more. You have online backed. You can shove this lane and go bot. This is your time to start that rotation. We have a dragon coming up.
That's pretty much what's happening, although there was a detail to take care of some enemy vision, which was immediately replaced by online. Alright, looks like the dragon fight's starting to get staged in here, though, as Glacial Rising Phoenix is positioning in front of the pit. The response coming in pretty much on time. Here comes Jin's ult really early, trying to get some pick damage. But the Corki package coming in as a counter, flying over them, getting completely behind everybody. But that's leaving the rest of their team exposed. Skiz coming in from the front and just decimating the entire team of Smug with their ultimate, leaving several members caught out. Until, wait, no, I'm reading this backwards. What am I saying? Glacial Rising Phoenix is the one who's completely turning around and reversing this. I'm going to be honest, I'm not even exactly sure what happened, but Glacial suddenly lost all advantage they had in this fight, taking an almost perfect exchange by Smug there. Interestingly, it's looking like it's not going to lead to the dragon because of how scattered the team is and how low their health is, though.
So Joey Desu clearly showing his strength with this very powerful champion, getting a return kill on Sproul, but that was a sloppy fight for Glacial Rising Phoenix.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it looks like they're just not going to be able to get anything out of it, and Glacial Rising Phoenix is going to come straight back in to take this dragon.
This is such a strange situation. Oh, well, we do have some skirmish breaking out over it, though, so I'll save my comments for later. Ooh, close to getting the steal there with Lulu's Q, of all things. But no, Glacial does manage to pick up that dragon. And I'm gonna be honest, that's not the outcome you were looking for if you're Smug. They closed a lot of gap with that team fight. They picked up a lot of money, but they're actually still down? Not by a whole lot, only a few hundred, but Glacial Rising Phoenix still with a slight gold advantage and managing to pick up a dragon after losing a fight 4-1. They did lose a lot of health. I suppose they felt like they weren't in the position to fight it with the respawn timers being this short, and maybe that was a really good decision. Glacial did get back very quickly. I'm sure it doesn't feel great.
They're not going to see the scoreboard that we're seeing. They don't know that they're behind in gold, but I think they might they have the idea that with their health that low and with as pokey as Glacial Rising Phoenix is, you don't want to stick around because it's only going to take a Q from Avaris and all of a sudden he has a double kill.
That's actually a really good point. So maybe it was just the necessary choice to lose that dragon. That was the biggest thing I was talking about they would be feeling, is winning the fight but losing the objective. And, I guess I wasn't really thinking enough about that kind of poke, because that would kind of ruin it if you stayed there. You lose the entire gap you gained from the fight, too.
Yeah, you want that fight to end then. You don't want it to pick up another 2 minutes of just, now we're getting cleaned up. So it's just going to fall back into laning.
Yeah.
Skiz has managed to get a hold of a Shelly. We have a Rift Herald down.
That could be very useful to them here. And just, oh goodness, Angeloid getting picked up quickly by an exhaust combination, but the charm coming out to pull Silandus back in, forcing also Epic Veil Guy to blow the flash. Even exchange there with both supports dying into pretty good places to put the gold. So mostly an even exchange there, except maybe, looks like Skiz coming in, deciding he doesn't want it to be an even exchange, using all of Graves' mobility, but no, his ultimate is flashed at the last second. Spirit coming in, forcing Epic Fail Guy to back off again, but Skiz still saying there, saying, get off my friend, leading to just an exchange of low health on both sides. However, we do see Lolifer with that roam you were looking for. Maybe... Oh,
This is...
it's seen.
That's unfortunate.
Interesting exchange there.
Roving Lysandra is what I love about Lysandra. She's such a mobile champ. I hate to not see her going out there and doing the good work.
But looks like Only might be rolling somewhere they don't want to, except Skiz from the back with the blast cone coming in to help, putting down enough damage that Only's able to pick up a kill in self-defense. However, Lysandra flashes the wall really quick. Lolifer able to pick up online, using that ultimate to immediately trap Skiz, but the shields, the number of shields coming down, stalling their life, but it isn't enough. Xylandis getting a root on Lolifer, stalling that, ending the engagement as Epic Fail Guy comes in with that superior range, trying to keep the harassment going with Xylandis' Q. But here comes the Ornn ultimate, running over them. JP Vine picking up a kill with the Q before getting almost knocked out by Lolifer. But Lolifer's now in a little bit of a trap as Desu, who teleported in, now herds Android away from helping. Looks like it's not going to lead... Oh no, there's the flash! And the counter flash, shield protecting them at almost no health. But Joey Desu decides not to walk through a turret with CC.
That's probably the best choice. That was a wild little fight, though. I mean, that went a lot of ways. I think ultimately it was probably going to be a draw. Like, Dragon's not up yet. It will be soon, but Joey Desu's going to have to head back somewhere else. He's not going to stick around for that right now. Or maybe he will.
Speaking of objectives like Dragon being up, here comes a Rift Herald coming down in mid. Lots of defense around it, even though there's a lot of good clear coming out. Using the package completely online, dives down behind the turret, but seems to have caught himself a little too far out as Lolifer uses their ult to stasis themselves while Spurl comes in and picks up the kill. However, the tower does fall. Here comes Jin sniping from range, getting the slows, letting Spurl close the gap, but Joey Desu being the closest target, not someone that Spurl wants to go on to. Yeah, not going to be something they can re-engage on, but they have picked up an inside track on this Dragon.
Online was way out of position, got way too far forward, chasing kills that, honestly, they don't need. Yeah. They were going to secure that tower, and really, they just donated 300 gold for it.
I was about to comment on how he already had the package pre-Dragon fight. I wondered if maybe he picked it up too soon, so it was kind of limiting his escape options if anything happened from the pick-heavy enemy team. But looks like, speaking of picks, oof! Before I can even say anything, Angeloid walking too close to the CC bush. Ornn coming down from Joey Desu. The Ram manages to catch someone. Spryland is coming in trying to get the root, but no, is countered by Spurl being in the way, using her damage along with Joy Spines to keep it away. Joey Desu now taking a ton of damage, getting smacked by a Gnar ult. Gnar still hadn't used their ultimate, throwing Skiz into the wall, leaving a tiny runaway fight between JP Vine and Online. But the sniping range is going to go to Online if he gets another phosphorus bomb or a missile. Here come the minions. Except, no, diving the turret with his W and taking the even trade from the dived turret. Goodness, these teams are refusing to leave anything on the table for team fights, and I think it might be biting both of them in the butt, respectively.
I mean, I would say that, but one team's currently ahead, and one team's currently ahead by 3 dragons. So, 3 dragons and a tower.
Yeah, I mean, Glacial's definitely holding the map control. Don't get me wrong. Glacial is dominating this map. And that can be enough. I've said it before, I will say it again. Macro is like 80 or 90% of the game. The problem that could occur here, and sort of what Smug might need to angle for if this keeps up, if fights keep trading this evenly, if we get to later game when those respawn timers get long enough, all Smug has to do is win a fight with one good pusher left alive, maybe two people left alive more than Glacial on these already really even fights, and that can swing that advantage immediately. So Glacial definitely looking good on the map, and those dragons are going to make getting that advantage all that more difficult for Smug, but neither team at all out of this game.
When I have Joey Desu on an Ornn, I'm happy to see a late game. I feel like if I'm playing Glacial Rising Phoenix right now, I want that late game.
Yeah, of course. Definitely not saying that they don't want it to happen.
So I think they're going to start picking up those late game team fights, because Joey Desu just hit 13.
True.
We're about to have very soon. He'll be at 16. All these items are going to start getting a lot better.
So I know that Ornn upgrades items. I know it makes them ridiculously more valuable. But what exactly does it do? Is it like item dependent? Does it like magnify stats by a certain amount?
It's item dependent. So, for example, I believe Trinity Force will pick up some of those stats will just get bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you really want. Like, just a much more gold-efficient item.
Oh, looks like Online in a bad position here. Sprue comes out from invisible. However, Skiz laying out the damage and refusing to die with that surprising grave survivability. However, here comes Joey Desu with the teleport, getting immediately responded to by the teleport on trains. Joey maybe going in too far, using the dash to try to get out, flashing over the Jin ult too, managing to juke the first 3 bullets, I think, and just too tanky to dive under tower. Doesn't get themselves lost and does put them in a better position to defend this front turret, but there are a lot of members of Smug sitting down here. Trains jumping in and using the Gnarl just to flip Joey Desu farther out, but it's Joey, the tankiest member of their team. Epic Fails Guy's ultimate comes out. Snares 1, 2, I think 3 different people got snared in that. All of them managed to fall, leaving only Surudi running away, not able to cloak. She's too close to the enemy. Quadra kill for Varus. That hurts. That's Glacial hitting the late game you were just talking about.
I mean, we have a late game powerhouse in Varus, and we just tossed 4 more kills on him. That's the late game we want.
Yeah. Yep, even with the advantages, even with the macro advantages, I was willing to call this game extremely even until now. Glacial Rising Phoenix is now firmly in control of this game. Their control has now extended beyond just the positioning into the status of the characters as well. Their gold lead has spiked to 4,500 almost exactly. This is the lead that Glacial needed to get from a fight, and they got it. Now if you're Smug, you need to find a way to break it.
On the board, their gold lead is 4 or 5k above. Realistically, their gold lead is much higher. Joey Desu is 2 levels above Trains. Skiz is a level above Sparul. And we have... Now, granted, some of that's balanced out by higher level bottom lanes, but we have 3 upgraded items from Ornn. And a dead Online.
Yeah, Online just getting picked so fast in the middle there wasn't even really a chance to shift the conversation. Managing to get caught out by a lot of CC. I think Online's really got to start playing closer to his team. He's playing into the picks that Smug wants, and speaking of Smug wanting picks, they're using that pick to start a fight on the Dragon, but Joey Desu using the insane range on his ultimate to engage while Skiz comes from the other side, knocking out 2 members simultaneously, leaving Trains alone as that tank, but it's just not enough beef to really get in the way. Trains now having to juke as hard as they can, but getting caught out by the blue trinket. There's another triple kill on Epic Fail Guy. In the past 3 minutes, we have added, 7 kills minimum to Epic Fail Guy? Those are just the ones I'm thinking of. Varus is starting to get stupid.
Well, Varus also now has an Infernal Soul, so that's going to be an extra, right now, about 120 AD.
Oh yeah, they've picked up the 2 Infernal Drakes on the map. The souls are a little more mysterious to me. I don't know as much how they work, but we can discuss their ins and outs later.
Yeah, so now everybody's going to get a massive boost to all of their combat stats, and that's the last thing you want happening here.
Yeah, the advantages are really starting to stack up for Glacial Rising Phoenix. We had the map advantage, we picked up the fight advantage, now we've got, in just exacerbating the objective advantage they already had, the specific advantage of the Infernal Soul buff. This is starting to look very bad for Smug. Now, they've still got some powerful members on their team. If they can manage to get into a fight that truly favors them, they have a chance. But this is where Glacial's team comp is starting to really lend itself to the advantages they have.
Now, one thing that I really love, truly love about this build that Epic Fail Guy is pursuing, this is Lethality Varus. You get to build items not Infinity Edge, not a Zeal, but things like Yamu's Ghostblade, or in this case, Yamu's Wraithblade, where you just hit it and you get a movement speed boost, or Edge of Night that gives you a spell shield.
Once again, in the middle of talking, someone just gets into the wrong spot. Angel getting just immediately deleted by the combined firepower of Glacial, who then turns their attention to the Baron. Looks like Smug's going to try to contest it. Varus ult coming down, but it's just not going to be enough. Glacial just surrounding the Baron, and they do not decide to fully engage. The 4v5 fight there really doesn't favor them. I respect and appreciate the attempt for Jhin to get that steal, but you'll notice how well Glacial did at just surrounding the Baron. Oof! Though, Epic Fail Guy may be starting to feel a little too big on the map, and not respecting the fact that there is still an Evelynn roaming around.
Yeah, randomly delete you if you get caught out, so maybe watch yourself there. That spell shield only stops one spell.
Key point. And that's actually a pretty big deal, because he'd gotten onto such a roll with all those kills. That was a 700 gold shutdown. That is a lot of gold to suddenly have on a damage dealing character.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Now, we're going to have this split and just get all these lanes moving. The frontline towers are now clear, so they just need to use this Baron to try and get as close to the base as possible. I'm not sure if they're going to actually be able to crack Smug Club's base on this Baron, but they're going to need to do something.
Okay, correction. I'm going to go with no unless Smug engages on one of their outer towers, which it looks like they're considering. I don't blame them. I don't want to lose my tier 2 either. But I think you just got to try to sacrifice the remaining time. Trying to get a clear look at Baron buff here. It won't tell me how much time's left on it, but they've had it for a while. Looks like that base crack might happen after all. No, not yet. The Jhin ult coming down. Joey Desu just wandering in from the inside of their wall, being forced to flash out despite how tanky they are. The Baron buff timer is ticking, but the tower is going to fall. And without the tower advantage, they're probably going to lose Inhibitor too. So there is a base crack. Into an immediate engagement. Lots of stuns and CC coming down onto Skiz. Skiz going down, but so many members of Smug falling in response. Now we've lost Epic Fail Guy. That's a lot of damage down, and Joey's still caught pretty deep. I think we're going to pick him up too. Don't know that anyone else can really safely approach. No! Joey just said, you know what? I don't need carries. Come at me. I'll take you myself. Taking one more with them. They did manage to make it a break-even exchange for 3, but only in numbers. They did lose the inhibitor on that Baron.
That was, Joey's showing the power of Ornn. We have to respect Magic Goats, but that's a worthwhile trade. You have that inhibitor down. Now, that lane, it's just going to push itself. You're good. Let's start putting all this pressure on mid. Let's start putting all this pressure on top. Smug Club is so solidly on the defensive. We have to see Glacial Rising Phoenix mess this game up now.
I've got to say I agree with you. That possibility of breaking siege with a pick from something like Evelynn, you really lose that when you have no exterior towers to fall to and something's causing automatic pressure. But speaking of pressure, we're starting to put some on this Elder Drake here with already 4 dragons in stock. This is not something you want to lose if you're Smug, but at the same time, there's that poke range from Epic Fail Guy just picking off Angeloid before the fight even begins. I don't know if they have a choice.
They have some ability to pick somebody off. Maybe not let having... If they can stop all 4 or all 5 members having that buff, that might help.
Oh no, the Elder Drake seems to have reset. As Sparud, who was trying to scout out, gets caught by Joey Desu, forced to flash over the wall, but during that time, Skiz picks up the Elder Drake.
We're looking at an Ornn with almost 4,000 health, over 230 armor, 240 magic resist. He's fine just getting in there.
Speaking of getting in there, Skiz getting in a bit deep, but managing to use a stasis to save themselves, as Sparude does manage to take down Epic Fail Guy, but immediately falls. That is 2 members down, an Elder Drake buff on Glacial's side, with a down inhibitor. I'm not willing to call this guaranteed game quite yet, but we are on the last possible lifeline for Smug now, as we see the blue mid inhibitor fall too. And Meganar giving out at the worst possible time. Train's getting caught, but managing to flash out, not down yet. But those Nexus turrets are falling fast. The respawn timer's not too much time left, but with the Ornn ult coming out and so much siege power, I think the Nexus is going to fall before they can get up. It's desperation time, guys, and they're going for it, but it's just not enough. Gnar getting picked off, leaving them with absolutely no front line to engage this push. There goes the Nexus. It is Glacial Rising Phoenix's game.
That, they took that final Elder Dragon buff. They were powered with an Infernal Drake. They had all these item buffs from the Ornn. This just snowballed so effectively, and I think that's exactly what Glacial Rising Phoenix wanted.
Yeah, you called it from the get-go. That's exactly what happened and probably what they were playing into. And they executed it really well. It expressed first as just the map advantages, and then they were able to leverage those map advantages to get all the rest.
So, I want to say Sproul showed exactly what you expect out of Evelynn, right around level 6, making map plays, putting pressure where it was needed. Online was the target. And that was effective to a point. But that's not a team fight comp. Your team fight comp, if your idea of winning a team fight is Lullafer locks somebody down and Sproul and JP Vince explode them, that's one carry down. You still have usually Skiz and Epic Fail Guy still running around and Joey Desu knocking people up.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly the kind of thing they were looking for. That's not a team fight, that's a pick. And picks are great. They really are. And if you can leverage a pick, it can buy you so much. But when they lost map that fast, and Glacial was able to leverage it the way they did, that's when the picks can only take you so far.
Well, that was a fantastic game from everyone. But we have NG Blossom versus Apes Together Strong coming up in just a couple of minutes, and I love NG Blossom, so I'm looking forward to that game.
I'm sure it will be fun to watch, but for now, we are going to take a quick break here, I think. That's where we are?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Looks like it is time to just give everyone a chance to reset and get ready for our final match of the day. Like you said, Apes versus NG Blossom. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right, we will see y'all in a few minutes.